Good afternoon. I'm Dan Godwin. A stunning verdict is back in the John Wiley Price corruption trial. Price and his co-defendant Daphne Fain were found not guilty on most counts, and a mistrial was declared on the remaining counts. Fox 4's Sean Rabb is outside the federal courthouse in downtown Dallas and joins us live. Sean, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Dan, first, let's paint the picture for you here now. You see the throng of cameras right there. That's because John Wiley Price, Daphne Fain, and their defense team, they've just come out of the back doors here at the federal building. We were trying to steer them to the microphones that were set up here for them, and they're coming our way now across the street. Commissioner Price has just defeated the United States government. Mr. Price, can we go to the microphones just for a minute? Can you go to the mics just for a minute? How do you feel at this moment, sir? Can you say anything right now?
I'm on my way to work. I'm trying to get to work. Can I get to work?
As he does every day.
Okay, I'll talk with you later. Shirley Bacchus LaBelle, the lead defense attorney, at the moment does not want to speak. I think they're soaking up this minute and absorbing the fact that they've just defeated the United States government in a case that's taken more than 6 years to bring to bear, with millions of dollars being spent and an unlimited amount of resources. And so, Dan, it was not guilty on the biggest charge, the conspiracy to commit bribery. All of the mail fraud counts, not guilty on John Wiley Price. The jurors were deadlocked on the conspiracy to commit tax fraud and on the 3 years of tax underpayment. The judge said she was going to mistrial those after polling all of the jurors, and the jurors telling the judge, we don't believe that any more time in deliberation would help us get to any resolution. As for Daphne Fain was not guilty on count 8, conspiracy to commit tax fraud, and she was not guilty on count 13, lying to the government. Daphne Fain's charges were delivered first in court. When we heard that she was not guilty, it was fairly certain at that time that John Wiley Price was not going to be guilty. The judge let us know before the verdicts were read that there were 4 charges that the jurors were deadlocked on. Those had to be the tax cases. This is a stunning defeat to the government. It has never happened in Dallas County in a case where the federal government has decided to bring corruption charges against an elected official. Dan, this has never happened before. And this, in fact, is a stunning defeat for the government. Catherine Miller, Nicholas Bunch, Walt Junker, the 3 USAs who vigorously tried this case, brought to bear all the strength of the U.S. government, and again, spent millions of dollars in preparing this case and bringing this case. The jurors listened to the evidence for 8 weeks. But Dan, the defense only called 2 witnesses during this entire trial. They cross-examined, but they only called 2, really saying to the jury, we don't think the government has made its case. And now they've stopped to share some thoughts. Of course, you can imagine this is simply crazy down here.
No, we can see, of course, the throng of news media there trying to get some comments. And Sean, I don't know if we can put a microphone near Commissioner Price or his attorney. Can you kind of maneuver one in there?
Here I go.
Is entirely consistent with the evidence.
John, anyone since the government has brought this case at all?
Thank you all so much, and I'm very sorry. I can't at this time comment further.
Can you tell me how you feel on the inside at this moment? How do you feel on the inside?
Yeah, we're relieved. We're okay.
You ready to go back to work with the cloud?
He never stops working. He'd be there early in the morning and late at night.
He's walking all the way from...
Thank you, everyone. You bet.
So Dan, if you're still there, sir?
Yes, sir.
It's absolutely crazy here. And, you know, there's just the media. That's all. It's not like there are hundreds of supporters here. There are a few supporters, but this is a throng of media. And let me just tell you, there have been not just TV and newspaper reporters, there have been writers from law journals and legal magazines as far away as New York who've been here throughout this trial. You know, this man did what others have not been able to do through an outstanding legal team. Chris Knox, young Chris Knox, proved brilliant in this trial. Shirley Bacchus LaBelle proved brilliant in this trial. Tom Mills and Marlene Cadedu, as they brought the defense for Daphne Fain. We listened to the government make its allegations and lay out, trying to connect the dots of money between Kathy Neely, Daphne Fain, John Wiley Price. And then you'd hear in cross-exam explanations by the defense team. And of course, we don't know what the jury is thinking, and we don't know what they're believing or not. Here's what's interesting that we did learn today, and we'll talk about this more later. One of the things we learned is that they were hung up on the tax counts. And they were hung up on the tax counts on Tuesday is when we received notification. That means that last week, sometimes between closing arguments on last Tuesday and before they got a point where they said we can't decide, they had already decided not guilty on the conspiracy and the mail fraud, the bigger counts. That's astounding to think about that. That was already decided. They were wrestling over the tax counts.
Right. So,
Wow.
Of course, one of the questions that does come up here, Sean, we do have the judge declaring a mistrial, though, for those counts where the jury was deadlocked.
Yes.
As far as going forward from this point, could the prosecution decide, you know what, we're gonna take another run at this? Can we say what happens from this point forward?
So, of course, they can make a decision if they want to upload and go after him on those tax counts again. They may do so, but there will certainly be some criticism because of the amount of money that has been spent in all of the investigation, all of the preparation for the trial, all of the costs associated with it already, and not one conviction returned.
Yeah.
So, but yes, they can make that decision. Right now, they have to lick their wounds. And I don't mean that in any way other than just as it is. They have to lick their wounds. When you load up a case like this against a politician who has been a 30-year public figure, who, as we described him throughout, the tallest political tree in Dallas County, arguably most influential politician in Dallas County, you know, in a lot of ways. When you bring the force of the United States government attorneys, the FBI, the IRS, when you bring all of that and don't get anything, you have to really decide whether you want to put it all on the table again at taxpayer expense again.
And Sean, you talk about the national news media that has been attracted to this case, drawn here to cover this corruption trial. You were able to spend a lot of days in the courtroom. There's going to be a lot of analysis of where the prosecution may have gone wrong. Could it have been a situation where it was an extremely complicated case with so many different aspects to it, and will people conclude that perhaps the prosecution didn't explain things well enough? What's your sense as to how the prosecution handled this?
So, just a couple of thoughts, Dan, and I'm glad you asked because that's important. Where did it go wrong? That's part of the analysis. That's part of what's happening on the third floor here in the United States Attorney's Office. Where did it go wrong? And here's where it went wrong. It went wrong, I think, this way. It was too much. It should have been more specific. It should have just focused perhaps on conspiracy and mail fraud. It became too big. As attorney Krista Castaneda described it, instead of a rifle shot, it was a shotgun blast. It was buckshot, trying to hit everything. Let's just load it all up. And it became too much. Not only that, But then you had an IRS agent who testified, Renee Hammett, who said that Mr. Price violated the rules when he received money from his son in a home that his son was renting from him, and he did not report those monies. Well, in the IRS handbook, Rule 527 says if you're renting to a relative and you're renting below market value, you do not have any obligation to report that as income. And she said she'd never heard of the rule in her own rule book. Then you had mess-ups. You had the government, the prosecutors, not provide grand jury transcripts for witnesses they intended and in fact did call. The rules of law say the defense must at least have that grand jury transcript to know what the testimony will be so they can prepare a defense. That was the first time. Then you had other occasions where the government ultimately revealed, oh, here's evidence that we didn't turn over. Here's a file, an electronic file that we lost, and suddenly the lost files are back. And each time, Judge Barbara Lynn admonished them, and I think all of that hurt. You know, jurors said, well, if you left this evidence out, what else is not right?
Yeah, we can certainly look back on a number of those key moments that are looming very important this afternoon. Sean Rabb, terrific work throughout this trial. Thank you so much for the update. We will, of course, hear from you later on Fox 4 News at 5. Again, just to summarize, Dallas County Commissioner John Wiley Price, not guilty of most of the corruption charges against him. His longtime assistant, Daphne Fain, not guilty of conspiracy, tax fraud, or any of the counts against her. Fox 4 News at noon will continue after this.